With Sauber signing Gabriel Bortoleto as their driver for next year, one final seat remains empty, and that is of course Red Bull Junior's team RB. Now I personally don't think that it is that simple. I am quite positive that another seat will open up at the end of the season for 2025, but I will go over this later in the video. Quickly going over Sauber's decision to sign with Gabriel Bortoleto, I think it is a good choice for Sauber to sign with Gabriel for the next year. He's performing amazingly in the F2 championship right now and is looking to win the championship. But not only that, I think that there are lots of financial reasons why they went with Bortoleto instead of Bottas. With Bottas being a bigger name, I'm sure that they would cost Sauber a lot more to sign him instead of Gabriel. And with 1 year still remaining as the state car before they shift over to being Audi, it gives a great year for Bortoleto to get up to speed in a full F1 season before officially driving in a more serious team, which would be Audi for 2026. So with that, I do understand the decision that they made, and I do think it is a good decision. Sadly, not so much for Bottas, but I don't see him getting any seat next year unless we really continue the silliness of this season and potentially see him replacing Perez, because I don't see any other option for him apart from that. Now about the RB seat that is missing right now, I do think that the most sensible choice would be to sign Liam Lawson, who is performing pretty well, and to have him be Tsunoda's teammate for the rest of the 2025 season. And I give this around a 50-50 chance of happening because, like I said before, I do think another seat will open up where I think we will likely see Liam Lawson being put into. And that, of course, is Perez's seat. I know that Perez has had a contract for 2025, but there are clauses in this contract, as we all know, and this has been already discussed many times, and I think most people will agree that Perez will likely be kicked off Red Bull's seat by the end of this year. So assuming Red Bull does go the route of kicking out Perez, who would we see in that Red Bull seat next to Verstappen, and who would we see in that RB seat next to Tsunoda for 2025? In terms of the Red Bull seat, there are a few candidates I think would get the seat, and that's Liam Lawson. Potentially, in a very slight chance, I think we might see Bottas, and I think there's another chance that we might see Franco Colapinto. He has been proving himself a similar amount of races now as Liam Lawson, so in theory, Red Bull has enough data on him and they should be able to make a decision or at least consider him for the Red Bull seat. However, I still think that Liam Lawson is the most likely option here since although they both have been racing for the similar amount of time and proving their worth, Red Bull already has a good relationship with Lawson and they have a better understanding of his driving style by comparing him to Tsunoda in the same car, which they know very well at this point. Now, in terms of the RB seat, I don't think we would see Liam Lawson stay in that RB seat for 2025 if we do see Red Bull kicking out Perez. And I don't think we would see Perez getting the RB seat either. If Perez is kicked out of Red Bull, I think that we won't see him continue as a driver in Formula 1, at least not as a main driver. So I think it would make more sense for Red Bull to place in another F2 rookie, such as Isaac Hadjar, since he is also proving himself and has a shot at winning the championship in F2, or we would see Colapinto getting that seat. And I just wanted to mention that I don't think Tsunoda would get the main Red Bull seat, even if it became available. I don't think that Red Bull team considers Tsunoda a good enough match in terms of marketing standpoints. Even if his driving is good, it's not good enough for them to overlook the commercial side of their drivers because we know how commercial and into advertising Red Bull is. I mean, it's the main reason they signed Ricciardo back when he was sacked from McLaren 2 years ago. So what are the chances that Perez gets sacked this year? Well, in my opinion, this is pretty much a done deal. I mean, think about it this way. Why did they sack Ricciardo towards the end of the season? Well, I think it's obviously because Perez is continuing to not perform how he should be, so they are analyzing which driver to switch out for Perez for next year, and they deemed Ricciardo not fit for this, so they brought in Lawson. Or, in the very unlikely scenario that they got all the data they need from Ricciardo, and now they bring in Lawson and still consider Ricciardo for next year. But I think Ricciardo's gone, and in the way that they fired him, I think we will not be seeing Ricciardo back in F1. So I think it's going to happen that we will see someone else in that Red Bull seat next year. And coming 2026, I'm not even certain that we will see Verstappen stay in that Red Bull seat. We will have to see, but of course there have been many rumors that even Verstappen would leave, and I don't doubt that even himself is questioning this. Either way, whatever happens, we are sure to have a continuation of the silly season, and I'm glad that we're going to see a lot more rookies coming in, and they really are proving themselves against the veterans. We're seeing this with Colapinto against Albon, Lawson against Tsunoda, and occasionally Behrman against Hulkenberg. With the limited seats in F1, it's nice to see rookies give the older drivers a run for their money. Anyways, those were my quick thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one.